Hi Virgo, welcome to the new moon in Virgo for August 27th, 2022. I think I have my YouTube sea legs now. So a quick introduction to myself. My name is Susie and I am new to YouTube but not to the tarot. I have 25 plus years of experience and I will be a student of tarot for the rest of my life. There are so many layers. It's a wonderful thing. And that's enough about me. Let's go on to your reading. The first column is the column of what is the new moon in Virgo bringing you. It's in your sign, so this is probably pretty intense for you, but it looks really good. If you've tried something and it hasn't worked, it's okay to walk away from it, especially during this time. The Eight of Cups is an emotional release to things that you have, to old emotional baggage. I will put it that way. Again, it's things that you've experienced, things that you've tried, physically and on an emotional level, or physically that has given you an emotional, that is portrayed on an emotional level for you. It's okay to walk away. It's okay to turn. It's the idea here is look forward, move forward. By turning your back on the old emotional baggage that you've been carrying around, you're moving to a better place. And you have the Death card here with that as well. So that means that there is definitely a cycle coming to a close. But it's transforming. There are big changes coming for you. And 8 is an energy of a lot of power behind you. So the release of old emotional baggage actually gives you a lot of new energy, a lot of new power. It's supporting you in a really big way. I do want to pull another card for this. So it's been a long journey. It's been a heavy journey. Indeed, you are with the Ten of Wands. There's a lot of responsibility or heavy responsibility that you've been trudging on with. One of the things that I would like to mention with this card is that it's great to let everybody have or deal with their own responsibility. Don't worry about taking on other people's stuff. I know we think that it's virtuous, but what's actually happening is that you are not allowing someone else to learn their lesson, and thus they don't grow from it. And I think that's a little bit a part of this because this is an emotional thing, and I know we want to help people, but I think you've done what you can for those that you can, and it's kind of time to let go and release that. And that'll make your journey, your way home, a little bit lighter. Although I must say with the Ten of Wands here, it's a slow and steady wins the race kind of card. But this is secondary. It's about letting go of old emotional baggage. And also, in that case, not to take anyone else's emotional baggage with you. That's their lesson. Of course, have compassion, but it's not yours to carry. How you react to this release, I would say, is taking your hands off of it. We have the Hanged Man here, and the Hanged Man is a little bit, it's not your will. There is a bigger hand steering at this time, and so it's kind of time for you to take your hands off of it. It's also very interesting in that it helps you to see things from another perspective. You're hanging upside down, and you see that is where enlightenment is. So changing your perspective about things while you're in this waiting period is very helpful for you because you have the Six of Wands there. And the Six of Wands is victory in group situations. It looks like we've come through a ordeal victoriously, but it's a battle that's been won and not the war. the person who's led the group to victory continues to move on. There's more to do. There's more to handle. So there's two kind of um, subjects here of moving on, moving forward. And as far as I'm concerned, I think you have definitely understood that letting go of the emotional baggage has released you from something, and makes your way easier for the next cycle. But the strength behind it was changing your perception and letting go. Letting go of the Chariot is about control. I think the releasing of will is the Hanged Man, and that is again not your will but thine will. The higher powers take your hands off of it. There's a bigger hand steering this life, this cycle at this time. I do want to pull another card for that. Maybe it's some confusing choices that has left you sort of with the Hanged Man here. Not knowing what to choose, possibly not choosing because of that confusion. And so it's almost like waiting for the smoke to clear. And I think that's a good choice because it leads you to the Magician and the Eight of Swords. Now, the interesting thing about the Eight of Swords is, again, hands are bound. You can't make the decision, and this is on a mental level because we're talking about the swords here. So mentally, you feel bound. You feel like you cannot make the change. Whereas this one is the higher spiritual card. This is the more physical, mundane, but they're very similar cards. This is you willingly taking your hands off of it, and this is feeling like or thinking that you cannot. So for me, the Magician, the change of perspective is that through your willpower and not the actual physicality of doing something, you can release old emotional baggage. You can begin something new because the Magician is the impetus to do something. I am the creator. I create. This is my will. And so it's not always a physical thing that you have to do. Thought and energy precede action. And so with the Magician, it's your will. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to create. This is it. This is what I'm going to do. And I think you learn through this cycle that will comes first. It is the Magician. It's that male outgoing energy, the electrical outgoing male energy. And I don't mean gender. I'm talking physics here. That gets things going. That creates heaven on earth. And to come to those understandings is an extremely huge milestone in anybody's development. You don't have to overthink anything. You don't even have to pick up the swords and do anything. First, you have to will it. First, you have to put your energy behind it. And you have to push it out into the universe just through willpower alone. Interesting. Interesting reading. So the last card that I want to pull for this is a sort of an overall what the Spirit wants you to know in regards to this reading, in regards to this cycle that's happening with the new moon. And you have the moon. So I do think this is an important moon for you. And in the original deck, the Eight of Cups has also the full moon and the new moon with it. So I do think this is going to be a full cycle. I do think it's going to be 4 weeks that we're going to be dealing with this, which is good because it gives you time to become enlightened, to see things from another perspective. And that may have something to do with your own fears. I think Virgos are perfectionists, and if it doesn't turn out exactly the way they wanted to, it may feel like a loss for them, but this is not true. And so with the moon card, you're always talking about deep psychological fears that come up around this time so that you are able to become aware of them. And awareness is everything. When you become aware of something, you can make a choice then, and then you can see what your choice inevitably brings. But at least you're aware of it. You're not on autopilot. The dogs bark at the moon. Nothing scary about the moon, but they just don't understand it. And so there's a situation here where you are learning to understand what's happening here with changes that are happening, with being okay about letting go of things that didn't work out for you. And it's sort of with a heavy heart you move on. So it does bring some it brings emotionality to the whole situation, which is why I think your logic is a little bound here. And that's okay. Sometimes we have to feel things and not always overthink them. So the moon seems scary, but it's not. It's helping you to become aware of the things that you were previously unaware of. And like I said, that brings a whole new perspective, and that makes you the master. Inevitably, it allows you to see what you are in control of, what you don't need to be in control of, and to be honest, that you have divine help. It's not just you out here on your own. Whether that's your higher self, whether that's people around you who are around to help during the times that you feel that you can't, or whether you feel that you're suspended in midair. But there's always groups, there's always people, there's always situations that are around to help, because where there is a problem, there's a solution. It's the other end of the stick. Problem, solution. Positive, negative. Electromagnetic. It's the same wand. It's just two sides of a wand. Okay? So the journey is the same. It's perspective that changes. And in this case, I do think your perspective is going to change. It's going to be something that you possibly were unaware of prior to this, and it's going to bring you to victory. It's really going to, with the 6, it's going to give you some equanimity, some stability that you've been searching for, and that maybe has eluded you in this situation prior to now. So it's going to be an interesting 2 to 4 weeks, Virgo. I hope this has been helpful. I enjoyed reading it. I'll be back in 2 weeks for the full moon reading. And thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Good luck. Bye.